Hello, I'm Dr. Alan Widener from Massage Chair Relief, and welcome to our Massage Chair Relief live broadcast for February 2025. We welcome Nicholas Beese, who's the VP of Fujiiryoki, and thank you, Nick, for being here again. I know you were here about a year ago, and I appreciate you coming back to talk about some other things in a little bit more detail.
No problem. Happy to be on here.
Okay, I'm going to check to make sure we have. Looks like we're having maybe some connection issues with Facebook, and that is nothing new. They don't help out a whole lot. Yeah, it does say we're live, so it looks like it's okay. But let's begin first of all, just as an overall umbrella summary, because people that saw you last year may not, or people that are here now may not have seen you last year. Fujiiryoki is the name Fujiiryoki comes from. There's a long history of the name Fujiiryoki, but the parent company of Cinca and Inner Balance, which were the previous models that you carried and that you distributed here in the U.S., they have now a relationship with the Fuji Medical Company, and I'd like you to go into that a little bit if you don't mind, and then explaining what the benefits are, how that came to be, and what the benefits are of having that a relationship or that association now, and what the relationship is exactly. If you could do that, that'd be great.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Alan. So, when you look at Fujiiryoki was established in Japan in 1954. They are the world's oldest massage chair manufacturer. What that means is they have more expertise, knowledge, and history than any other company in the industry. The second oldest would be Anada. They were established in 1956. So when you look at the massage industry as a whole, its origin is Japan, and that technology and ideology and being into massage chairs in general emanated out from Japan. It really grew in Asia, and you saw a lot of factories grow in Taiwan and China, and really they produce a lot of massage chairs in those markets. But it all started from Japan. And these brands in Japan have been there for a really long time. So when you look at Fujiiryoki, this company was founded by Mr. Fujimoto. When he originally developed the massage chair, it was really to serve a purpose, to be able to perform massage when there's not a person around. If you have a medical issue and you need massage therapy, you can't make an appointment or you can't leave your house, to be able to use that in the privacy of your own home is a great value to you. So the first massage chairs that they made were almost like a handmade concept. So they would use what we call found materials. And what we mean by that is that these are components that come from other industries. So if you look at the famous wooden massage chair that Fuji has on their website, that's the first one they made. That was made out of wood. There was bicycle chains in it, pieces of baseball to make up the massage heads. The wheel to turn it on the side was actually a steering wheel from a car in Japan. Yeah. So it was a really, kind of hodgepodge together from the hardware store type item. And when they made the first one, they thought, this is awesome. People will buy this, and we're going to create a company to do this. And that's really where Fujiiryoki came from. It was, a medical need. Someone created their own product to meet that need. And then they realized, oh, everybody's going to like this. I'm going to start mass producing this. And Fujiiryoki was born from there. The Fujiiryoki name in itself is kind of interesting. And this is actually something I learned a little bit later in my career. So for Fujiiryoki, you have Fuji and Ryoki. So there's two separate parts to that name. Fuji was chosen because the founder, Fujimoto, had Fuji in his name. He wanted something iconic, something super Japanese sounding. So Mount Fuji is a very iconic Japanese location. Fuji is an iconic Japanese name. So he thought, Fuji sounds really good. And Ryoki means medical device. So in Japan, Fujiiryoki is actually called Fuji Medical Instruments. That is their legal name. And the brand is Fujiiryoki. But the meaning is actually Fuji Medical Instruments. The massage chairs they produce are medical devices, and they're regulated as medical devices in Japan. So you have a really cool history. And the name, everybody always gets confused on how to spell it because there's two I's in a row.
Yeah.
So the two eyes symbolize the two massage heads in the massage robot on a Fujiiryoki massage chair.
Really?
Fujiiryoki, specialized in the dual-headed system that delivers greater precision and penetration for a massage chair. And that they really wanted to make it part of their name. So you have the Fuji, the Ryoki, and the two eyes are the two massage heads in there.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. Yeah, I had no idea. That's news to me. I like that. That's pretty cool. Now, the Fujiiryoki. Okay, so when I think of Inada and Fujiiryoki, Fujiiryoki was kind of a depressed name for quite a while in the United States, and Inada was kind of a more elevated status type of chair with the Dreamwave, and then they had a couple other models since then. But the Dreamwave really put them on the map here in the U.S. And now we're kind of seeing a shift. We're seeing the Inada name not quite as prevalent and dominant for the Japanese manufacturers as it used to be. And we're seeing Fujiiryoki, thanks to your association with them, kind of growing. Now, maybe you can talk a little bit about what your parent company did to acquire the Fujiiryoki name and what they're doing to elevate that name and make it more dominant in the market here.
Yeah, so absolutely. So, for our parent company, Johnson Health Tech in Taiwan, we were a long-standing Fujiiryoki customer, even before we owned them. We were their largest global customer. They were our largest supplier. We had a relationship that was super close, almost to the point where you're like, man, we buy too much stuff from these guys. So as a company, we were thinking about it as we either need to get closer in the form of an acquisition, or maybe we need to be separate and have more suppliers because we liked the Fujiiryoki chairs so much and the quality was so good and we sold so many that we decided, hey, let's get closer. Let's do the acquisition. So in 2020, we acquired 60% ownership of the Fuji Medical Company. And then in 2022, we acquired the remaining 40%. And it took a little bit to get to that point because the Japanese brands, they're very kind of proud of their technology. They're always different. Like the Inada chair is always different. The Panasonic chairs, the Fujiiryoki chairs, they have this distinct identity that's very different than the other chairs in the industry. And they had to be comfortable that Johnson, as an owner or a parent company, was going to retain the soul of their company and not change who they are, not water them down, not use them to, just slap their logo on a cheap chair. And our vision for Fujiiryoki was Fujiiryoki is the brand. We believe in made in Japan products. We want to invest in Japan. We want to do more models. We want to give you the funding and resources and input and infrastructure you need to be globally the best and largest Japanese brand. So like you'd mentioned before, Inada had been really successful at their global sales when they had the Sonyo, the Dreamwave. Those were both great chairs, really good quality, really nice design on them. They were very, industry leading chairs at the time. But the Japanese brands kind of like die and fall by the vision of the person in charge.
Yeah.
And Fujiiryoki had been very Japan centric. They were really powerful in Japan, but their focus was really on their core market. And they didn't care so much about the export market, where Inada had more focus on export initially than maybe Fujiiryoki did. And when we came in, we were able to show them there's so much more, to the world. We don't want to make you not Japanese, but we want to unleash you, and take off the restraints.
So their forte was strictly Japan or Asia, but they didn't look beyond that, I guess, is what you're saying.
Correct.
Even though they did have a presence here, but I know that there's another story to that, and many are glad that story is over. But anyways, I noticed that okay, so just to clarify for the people that are viewing, you've got the Mount Fuji what does the Mount Fuji have to do with the name at all? Like, is that just a mountain, or was the company ever, did Mount Fuji ever play a role in the name of the company
It was
besides the
more,
Fuji?
yeah, so it was more the founder trying to think of a name that was iconically Japanese. So there isn't like a fundamental connection to that mountain, but he had Fuji in his name. He knew Fuji and Mount Fuji were synonymous with Japan to the outside world. And he really wanted this iconic Japanese sounding name. And that's why they used Fuji in there. There isn't necessarily a direct connection to the mountain in any way.
But the Fuji Medical Instruments, that's the name of the company, obviously, and that's the company that Johnson Wellness bought.
Correct. Yeah, Johnson Health Tech acquired them. Yes.
Okay. Now, now you manufacture in Japan, but I was kind of surprised when I asked you about the d.core, to come and talk about the d.core, and we talked a little bit about it before, and you said that chair is being made at the Inada factory, and I'd like to, and you just maybe can give a little bit of just a little overview of why that is, and then what chairs are currently created in the Fuji Medical factory.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the d.core guys are really interesting. As a supplier, I would probably say they're my favorite supplier to work with. We have a very close relationship with them. They're really focused on the product, and they're very innovative in the things they think about and they approach. So they've been a great partner for ours. When you look at their company, even though Nin, who makes the d.core chair, is a newer company in the industry, this is a company born of massage chair royalty. So Nin Corp is headed by Soju-san, Soju Inada. So he is the son of the father who was running Inada during the Dreamwave and Sonyo days. And the son had spent effectively his entire career within Inada learning massage chairs, developing massage chairs, and being intimately involved in that business. Him and all of his friends, they grew up in Inada. So they had all of this great expertise, and they had a vision for d.core, this brand they wanted to create with these exotic materials, this different massage technology. And the father who was running Inada had his vision for what Inada should be. So it's kind of competing visions within the company, and the head of the company is going to get the ultimate say. Yeah. So the son decided to form his own company, created Nin Corp, developed the d.core brand and all of the awesome d.core products. And he, to me, I would say that's a great success. He launched an entire factory, brand, multiple models, multiple patents, and unique technology all by himself. So really, to me, that was like a big kudos to them. Now, the father who had been running Inada, he's not, with the separation of the two companies, they've actually drifted back together. So the father isn't as actively involved in running Inada anymore. And Soju Inada, who founded Nin and d.core, is now operating both Inada and d.core. And we've now shifted both companies into one building, essentially. So I can go to a factory and I can see the d.core guys and the Inada guys all in the same factory. And that's a great benefit because you can pool R&D resources. You can get better costs in manufacturing because you can consolidate your buying. You have more engineers available. You can combine warehousing and sales forces. There's a lot of synergy between the two. So for them, I think it was a great move, and it kind of comes full circle. The son Inada goes back to Inada.
Well, that is interesting. As far as I had known, there was still a split, but it looks like they've come back, and old men get a little more humble with age, and young men become a little bit more teachable with age. So maybe the combination of the two worked out really, really well. But now, so are you going to be distributing any other Inada chairs? Are you strictly d.core from that family merge?
Yeah, I would say who knows what the future holds. We don't currently distribute any Anata chairs at this time. We're very happy with the d.core chairs. If people haven't checked it out, I highly recommend you check out the d.core 2. That chair is extremely popular with our customers, very high customer satisfaction. So we're very content and happy with the d.core team.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the d.core 2 in a couple of minutes. But now I want to go back to the second half of my original question. What is going on at the Fuji Medical Instruments factory or business there? What part of Fujiiryoki is going on there?
Yeah, so at the factory in Osaka, Japan, that's producing the Fujiiryoki chairs, we have a newly launched Cyber Relax AI model. That model is under the Fujiiryoki brand, and that's being produced in the Osaka factory. There's also an executive edition that comes in full top grain leather that is also being produced in the Osaka factory.
Okay.
The leather on that's awesome. You don't see a lot of leather in massage chairs. Another good one for people to check out.
Now that's the Cyber Relax AI, right? That's the old JP3000.
Actually, so it's the new JP4000 if we're using our internal nomenclature. So
Okay, got
Cyber
it.
Relax AI is the new version. The
Okay.
executive edition is a limited edition only in black. That's full leather. So think of Anata when they had the Dreamwave. They had the true black. That was the higher end full leather.
Yeah.
We have something similar going on with the AI.
Okay.
And we are still producing the Cinca Wellness JP3000 in the Fujiiryoki Osaka factory as well too.
Okay.
So both, all three of those models are actively being produced now.
Okay, so the executive is just an upgraded Cyber Relax AI or JP3000.
Yes, correct.
Now, we previously had talked about the 4000. What is that chair? What's the nomenclature of that chair now?
So the 4000 is the Cyber Relax AI. So
Okay.
3000 is last generation, 4000 is the new generation, and that's
Okay.
Cyber Relax AI. That actually has a whole new developed in-house massage robot. So different feel than the 3000. Even if spec-wise they spec out similar, there is a pretty significant difference in sensation since it's a totally new robot.
Okay.
Much better arm massage, touchscreen. Overall, the massage chair is a big upgrade over the 3000.
Okay. Now, of course, you have other models that are under the Fujiiryoki name now, like the Calm Plus and the other Cyber Relax chair, the Duo Flex Track. Any other models that I'm missing, or any other things that you also have the inner balance chairs and the Kagra and things like that.
Yeah, so we still have the legacy Interbalance and Cinca product, but the primary focus for our company right now is the Fujiiryoki and d.core brands.
Okay.
Under Fujiiryoki, I promise you will see a bunch more chairs. The dual mech Cyber Relax Pro is a very hot seller. Calm Plus has been real popular. We're actually going to launch this year something in the $6,000-7,000 range that should be very popular. That's coming soon. I have one sitting in my office. So,
Okay.
yeah, we've got new stuff coming. So Fuji, after we acquired that factory, we just cranked up their R&D budget and their engineering budget and hired a lot of new headcount. So we're able to bring product to market from Japan, China, doesn't matter the country. We've got teams operating in multiple regions and a lot of R&D and engineering resources. So you'll see a lot to come from us over the next couple of years for sure.
Okay, so how much, like the other Cyber Relax, the popular model you were just talking about, how is that assembled, tested, and programmed in Japan, or is that built in China and just under the Fujiiryoki name?
So that's actually kind of an awesome question because it's a very unique arrangement. So it is designed in Japan and made in China for the Cyber Relax Pro, but it's unique because for us being a Japanese massage hair company, if we make a product in China and we intend to sell it in Japan, we have to we still have to achieve Japanese medical device certificate standards. That's not something our competitors do. That only applies to Japan domestic brands. So if they don't have distribution in Japan, they'll not be able to comply with this. Effectively, what it means is that the assembly line that produces our chairs in China is a dedicated assembly line just to our product with staff that report to us that comply with Japanese QC standards, and we control that whole process. So it's almost like a mini Japanese factory inside of another factory, and that production line is dedicated to us. It can't cross over with anyone else, or it'll violate that medical device standard. So it ensures a higher quality massage, but better build quality. We engineer and develop our own techniques, so you'll see unique techniques. Even if it comes out of our China plants, it'll still be a unique massage experience. That'll be a Fujiiryoki experience to the customer.
Cool. And you've got other products you're working on, so it'll be interesting to see what you got coming out. I might have to come visit you again and see what you have in your office there. But okay, that's good to know. That clarified a lot of stuff for me. Thank you. Now, this certification business, that's not all companies are doing that in Japan. This is just Fujiiryoki that does that. Is that correct?
So I would say that if Anata was in a similar arrangement, or Panasonic, they would likely be following the same thing. So it's going to be specific to the Japan domestic brands. So Panasonic, they make their chairs in China, but they would still have that Japanese medical device standard that they comply with. Same thing with Anata. If they brought in a chair out of China, they'd have to mirror that same standard. So that's something that it's just the big three in Japan you'll see doing that, which would be Fujiiryoki, Anata, Panasonic would all comply with that. The domestic US brands wouldn't even know what it is. It's a very complex certification. It takes a very long time to come into compliance with that. It's actually one of the reasons why I think we acquired Fujiiryoki, is because we found that achieving that threshold of certification was so difficult and so complex that we really needed a domestic Japan brand to really be able to control that process.
Yeah, well, there are models sold in the US here that I know are built in China. Components are exported to Japan where they're assembled, tested, and programmed. And that justifies having made in Japan on their boxes. But if those chairs aren't built in those top three factories, they may not have the same kind of quality certification that those three do. Is that correct?
It would have to do, so the easy way to look at it is it a brand that's sold in Japan? Because you could have a product pass through for assembly, and the compliance standards might be different for that compared to a product that might be sold in Japan directly. Okay. So there's different thresholds for it. The companies that do that assembly, I mean, legally that's made in Japan, but it's more of like a pass through and assembly stage, as opposed to, when you look at us, we have a 1,000 headcount in Japan. I mean, we have a very large presence and a lot of infrastructure there. There's a big difference in our compliance regime compared to someone who's maybe outsourcing some assembly to Japan and then exporting to another country.
Yeah, that's good to know. We've been telling people for ages that these particular models are made in Japan, but the components are made in China. As a matter of fact, I'd even heard at one point that even the Inata Dreamwave components were made in China. But I guess if they're coming back to the Inata factory for assembly and testing, they still have to go through the rigorous testing to get that certification, right?
Yeah, correct. And really, there's you don't really find many products that are 100% made in any one country. Componentry is going to always come from everywhere. The percent of components might vary. And there's thresholds defined by the government that vary by country of origin and product category. So it can get a little murky as to what it is. I mean, those products are all legally made in Japan. I wouldn't say that they're not, but it's just a difference in, compliance regime and testing and QC standards between the two.
Yeah. And you know what? Every time I've talked to you, you have talked about compliance and the quality of the build and the testing, et cetera, et cetera. That's something you're big on, and I appreciate that. And so that's probably why these chairs are so well received. I mean, it's pretty new, and I'm sure time will tell how they stand up to the wear and tear of daily use. But yeah, I have a lot of faith in the Fujiiryoki product, or a d.core and Fujiiryoki and Inada, because we've had experiences with those chairs in the past and typically do very well. Now, as you know, I have a lifetime labor warranty, and we're getting some old Inada Dreamwaves that are starting to fall apart in terms of upholstery. But for the most part, the mechanics and the electrical components are still working. But it's like, I don't know. It's like our skin. As we get older, we lose a certain, and we start to get the turkey neck, and I'm going through that now. But I still feel like my heart and my lungs are pretty good, and I think that might be how some of these old chairs are. The upholstery is just falling apart, but the chair itself just continues to function and work.
Yeah, I always look at it, a lot of it has to do with the intent of the company and how they operate.
Mhm.
So there's, like we always try to be a reasonable company. We try to do the right thing. We're not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but the intent is positive.
Yeah.
And, there's some brands that operate differently. There's a lot of good brands out there. It just matters if you choose a good place to buy a product from.
Yeah. Well, and that's how we feel as retailers. We try to do the right thing and take care of people with a good intent. But yeah, sometimes we screw up too. So we understand that, or the protocols fail, or the procedures fail. Okay, this is good. I appreciate this intro, if you will. It's very, very helpful to me to understand a little bit more about the companies, the separation of product and whatnot, and the compliance issues. This is good stuff. Now let's talk a little bit about the d.core 2. We have the d.core 2 in our showrooms, and we like it. It's a beautiful chair, aesthetically the best looking chair there is in my mind. But we also have customers that like it.
Mm.
It's one thing to look good, but it's another thing to function good, and our customers seem quite content with it. And I think the response has been very, very positive from people that have tried it and bought it. Now, maybe we can talk a little bit about that d.core 2, kind of drill down a bit on some of the functions. Now, we did a video just last week of the roller mechanism, because I hadn't peeled it back to look at it, and I wanted to see this 10 hand roller mechanism, as you call it, or 10 rollers. And when we pulled back we unzipped the back cover, and I counted all the rollers, and yeah, there's 10 of them. And you have the corrugated, what I call the decorative pumpkin rollers on the top two, which I think is fantastic. And the rubbers, it grips, man. It really grips the material, your material and your skin, if you're going skin to skin or roller to skin. But tell us a little bit about that roller mechanism. I've never seen one like that, and
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. What's the genesis of it? And
So I like to think of it as like a hybrid mechanism. So when I met with d.core, the first time we sat down and we reviewed their product and technology, it was very clear they had this passion for massage technique and the therapeutic value of massage. So that textured pumpkin style massage head, that texture is intentional because those little ribs, they kind of grip a little bit better than a perfectly round wheel. So you get a better grip and texture and pull. So when it's massaging the muscle, that grip and traction is much higher with that shape. They also utilize a deeper reach. So the one thing I noticed that was different between Inada and d.core, like the father and son difference, is the Inada were a little bit softer in terms of their approach to massage,
Yeah.
where the d.core team really emphasized deep tissue penetration. And they developed the massage head to reach out like a dual head system. So think of the Fuji system where you have the two heads that come out. The d.core system mirrors that, where most other chairs, you have that quad roller that pushes out. And when you have the quad roller push out, your body weight is spread out on a larger area. So each head doesn't penetrate as deeply. So I refer to the d.core system as a hybrid system because the top two massage heads operate independently from the bottom heads. So the bottom heads are on a rocker style system, and that rocker style system, which you see in most massage chairs, is really good at low back and hip massage. It's why all the SL track chairs got so popular, is as it goes to the low back, the large coverage area is a big plus. You get better coverage area, you get nice continuous contact through the low back. It follows the curve of the hips really well. So you get that technology. But the Fujiiryoki style system with the two heads is really good in the upper back, neck and shoulder, upper back, mid back. And the d.core guys looked at Fuji has this cool technology. The Chinese brands have developed this cool rocker technology. Let's link them together into this hybrid style massage robot. And then what's even cooler is the massage heads on the d.core chair can move independent. So the right arm can move separate from the left arm. And there's a little motor on the end of the massage head to turn the massage head on the arm by itself. So it's a very, very unique massage robot. There is not anything like it on the market currently. And it's one of, like, when you look at the Cirrus robot or the Stratus robot, the jump to the 10-headed style system and the complexity of the movement the d.core 2 can do is much better. And that was the thing that shocked me the most, because I'd tried Cirrus and Stratus before we took on the d.core brand. And when I tried the d.core 2, I was surprised it felt so different. I was really like, it's unique to see the insides of a massage chair change so drastically, because it's a very expensive part to change. So usually factories like to use the same robot for a long period of time. And this, we went from Cirrus to d.core 2 with a big jump in back performance. And you had that unique hybrid system where you got the two on the top and then the rockers on the bottom for the smaller massage heads. And it provides an amazing back massage feel.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's an interesting setup. I love it. We're familiar with the pumpkin-like rollers from the Inada. I think it was the Flex that had the same type of rollers with the same kind of design and shape. And this is a strong massage chair. Like this d.core 2 is strong. It's one of the few chairs that I've experienced that really digs into that low back. A lot of massage chairs, the roller mechanism doesn't go far enough to get the full curvature of the lordosis. And this one does, man. I got low back problems. And when I play hockey, that's what always hurts when I'm finished. And I need to get in a chair like that one in particular to really massage my back. And I've not seen that in another chair quite as intense as that.
Yeah, when we were at CES, actually, we would take the pads off and we'd unzip it so people could see the massage robot. And what happens is you've got the robot inside the chair and it's massaging along this platform. But when the top two heads want to stick out, the whole robot, it kind of tilts at an angle. So the amount of penetration is much deeper than if you measure it as a metric. So if you measure it and say like, oh, it went 3 inches deeper, the sensation, because the whole robot angles, it feels amplified multifold. So I was, one thing I noticed as well is the depth of reach into the lumbar was amazing. And it really stood out to me as a key feature. And that's something I look for and I enjoy myself.
Yeah. People ask which chair has the best low back massage. That's usually the one we recommend. It digs in so good. Now, I'm wondering, I don't know what the measurements are of the roller track, but the Stratus and the Cirrus, I remember the roller track, it's an L track, and it went down, but it didn't really go down deep into the piriformis. It was more of a gluteus medius type of muscle hit. Is the d.core 2 longer than that? It feels to me like it's maybe a little bit, that track's a little bit longer.
So, I mean, it has to do more with the coverage of the massage heads. The frame is very similar between the two of them. Between the old generation and the new generation, they focused more on like gear diameter and reliability of some of the components in the frame. So they've made a lot of improvements in, just learning generation to generation. But it has to do with the quantity and reach of the massage heads. So it will feel like it's a longer reach down there compared to the previous generations, but it's primarily driven by how the mechanism operates as opposed to the frame.
Okay. Yeah. I like the feel of it. It's a good feel, and it seems to go a little bit deeper. And of course, that massage mechanism is longer. I mean, you've got those extra rollers, the bottom 8 rollers that maybe reach down a little bit further than the previous Stratus and Cirrus did. But it feels like it's going deeper down the S track or down the L track. Now, one thing, when you first introduced that chair to me, we were talking about the calf rollers, and that chair comes with calf rollers and arm rollers, and maybe we can talk about that in a sec. But I was talking about, hey, I like the airbags are kneading, and you said all the airbags knead or oscillate. And tell me a little bit about that. I've never heard of that before.
So when you think about unique features, calf rollers and arm rollers are somewhat unique. Kneading airbags are extremely uncommon. So the chairs that do have it, maybe it'll be like a kneading calf massage where it's like this, kind of a little bit simple. It feels better than a regular compression, but it's a little simple. The way that the d.core ones do is they'll grip and pivot as they're massaging. And you don't always notice it like right away. So for me, it was something that it's a feature that grew on me. Like when I was sitting in the chair, I'm thinking, this is a very just like luxurious feeling massage. It's very a good sensation. I don't know. There's not like any one thing that's standing out as the defining thing. It's kind of the culmination of how the different systems work together. So the way that this one will work is in the arms, you'll get a small oscillation, shoulder airbags, a small oscillation. Calves, it's more evident. You'll see more movement in the calves and then the feet as well too. So the airbags in the shoulders, arms, calves, and feet, you'll see some oscillation in. And in the calves and feet, it'll be much more prominent than the other regions. And to me, it's one of the things I really like about it because it provides an immersive, full body experience. It's much better experience than just the compression, because the compression, you tighten and restrict blood flow, reduce some muscle tension, release, and it just repeats. But that oscillation is manipulating the tissue much more than the tightness of just the compression.
Right.
So I really found that to be a feature I really liked. It's really unique. I've really emphasized to them like, hey, this is go down this road. Like, let's see this ramped up, make it even crazier, because it's one of my personal favorites within that chair.
Yeah, it is. It's a very interesting feature. I mean, I love the oscillating or kneading calf airbags. I've always preferred that, but to see other airbags in the chair have it is really unique. But these airbags have been known just to inflate and deflate, expand, contract. That's it. But when they start to move, it's different. It's a whole different experience. And the calf is a perfect example. But when you've got the elbow airbag moving and you've got the shoulder airbags moving, it does feel like you're getting. It's one thing to say airbag compression is massaging you, but when you have airbag compressing with kneading, you really do feel like it's getting massaged, as subtle as it may be because of the size of the airbag. But it's really a unique. It feels like the whole chair is always. I mean, the roller's always moving, but it feels like there's always something going on everywhere on the body as well, and not just compression. And I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it provides a more like immersive experience. You feel like you're getting massaged in a million areas all at once, where when you get normal compression, you go, oh, it's squeezing my arms. It feels good, but it's not like massage, where when they move, you get that massage sensation.
Would you say that are the arm rollers the same as the arm rollers in the Cirrus and the Stratus, or the Cirrus?
So the different rollers in the d.core 2 have changed. So the arm rollers are actually the same as the Cirrus, but the mount and installation is different. So what I mean by that is like how your arms fit in there is different. And if you think about it, if you're getting an arm roller plus you're getting compression plus oscillating, you're actually getting triple massage in the arms and triple massage in the calves. So the arm roller also is unique. When you think about like a calf roller is probably the closest equivalent. Usually it's something that just kind of spins in place on the calf and then it reverses.
Right.
And it almost like hurts a little bit. Sometimes it feels good if you like a firmer massage, but it's very basic. The way the d.core ones work is you'll have like a bank of them, and they'll oscillate as they go through. So easiest way to describe it is think of like a rod with some offset rollerblade wheels that all turn at different speeds and times. So it'll massage multiple parts of the forearm at different points and different levels while the compression's going on, while the oscillation's going on. So it's a much more thorough, rigorous massage.
Yeah.
When we talk about those rollers, the calf rollers and the foot rollers are both different on the d.core 2 compared to the Cerritos. Okay. So those are actually a totally redesigned roller system, and it's designed to get better grip. So instead of just like the wheels that are pushing in and oscillating and kneading, these are designed to grip and pull more. And you notice that particularly on the arch of the foot where you get that pulling sensation. And so for me, it felt noticeably better than the previous generation's chairs.
Well, you call it the tornado shiatsu arm massage. What does the tornado allude to? Is it the sequential rolling of
spinning? Yeah. So the easiest thing is you have a rod in there that's spinning, and then there's essentially raised contact points at different levels on the rod. So you're able to get a larger coverage area, massage throughout the arm, and it's not too strong, not too light. When we talk about these rollers, I always like to emphasize, like, it's not going to crush your arm. It's designed to be something that you don't prominently notice it's a mechanical roller. The arm massage is about providing a therapeutic, relaxing arm massage. Yeah. They're using multiple technologies to do that, but no one technology is so strong that it overpowers the sensation of the other ones.
Yeah. Well, so what you're saying basically is that the balance of all the components of the arm massage is a good balance. So you're not getting squeezed too hard. You're not getting dug in from the rollers too hard. Is that what you're talking about in terms of the balance?
Yes, absolutely.
A little more comfortable. Now you also, of course, the oak panels, before they were a darker wood, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yeah. So apologize. So Cerritos and Stratus were walnut side panels. The d.core 2 uses oak side panels. The wood from these is sourced from the U.S., sent to Asia for finishing, and comes back. So it is a component that actually originated in the States.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, it is a global economy, and you alluded to that earlier in this today when you said that no chair is 100% made anywhere. And there's components that come from Malaysia and Singapore and Taiwan and China, et cetera. But it's nice to know that there's parts coming from America too, especially since the chair is being distributed here. Is the d.core 2 distributed throughout the world, or is it primarily a United States product?
Yeah, so it is distributed globally. You'll see they sell it in China, and I believe it's very popular in the EU as well. The US, we really wanted to kind of take a lead in this product, and we grabbed it real early on. Like we knew when we saw it, like I knew this would be popular. So yeah. It is globally available, but I think the EU and North America markets are probably the strongest markets. And Asia is really ramping up now, kind of as we speak.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good chair, and there's always been this struggle between aesthetics and function, and or form and function, and this one fits the bill pretty good. We have a couple of comments. David commented saying, "Great history of the massage chair." And Al, I think his name is Al. He says the d.core 2 is the most well-designed and therapeutic massage chair on the market. So sounds like you've got a couple of fans there. And we appreciate that. What else can you tell us about the chair in terms of differentiating it from the Cerritos and the Stratus?
Yeah, so when we look at some of the differences in there, you're going to jump into a triple heater system on the d.core 2. You're going to have a touchscreen remote. I think probably on the d.core line, the biggest knock on it in the past is they had kind of like an old style remote where it was a overlay touchpad style.
Yeah.
The touchscreen on the d.core 2 is extremely simple to operate, and there's tons of languages on it. I mean, there's even like Romanian on there. So you can choose tons of different languages. You've got Bluetooth speakers, USB charging, fingertip controls. It's got this really cool carrying function. So it's like a big chair. You know, when you get a big massage chair with these nice wood panels, you're always like, if you got to move it in your house, you're trying to think, how do I do this without scratching this thing? I want it to look like $1 million because it looks like $1 million.
Yeah.
So there's actually a carrying function where you can enable that. And the chair sends the massage robot to the lowest point of the frame. So it's the safest and most stable. And you can fold the legs up onto the seat and it tilts it back. So you can reach in and grab it and engage the wheels and move it pretty easily. So there's little details like that, but you're getting more heaters, more airbags, more programs, better massage techniques, upgraded calf rollers, upgraded foot roller, upgraded back massage. If you look at it spec by spec, every single spec is better. So even though the molds and maybe some of the outside looks the same, you'll see a big jump in terms of every feature. The count is higher, the performance is better.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels we had the Cirrus in our showroom for a period of time, a lengthy period of time, and it was popular also. But this d.core 2 has got more beef to it. I don't know how else to describe it. It just feels like it does more. Even though the old one had calf rollers and arm rollers and had back rollers, this one does feel like it just feels beefier. I don't know what that's the word I use just to think of just more bang for the buck. It seems like so.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you can take a spec that exists on a chair and redo it and upgrade it. So even though if you look on paper, they both have the same spec, actually Gen 1 versus Gen 2 feels very different. Yeah. And on this chair, I think the calf roller and the foot roller are two big areas, that they both have it, but the d.core 2 is much better. d.core 2, you get the kneading airbags, you get the oak, you get the fingertip, you get the Bluetooth speakers, you get the 10-headed Mac, 3 heaters instead of 2. If you look just each spec, they made sure to upgrade all of them because they were very confident in it. If you look at the bicep airbag on it, you can tell it's like an Anata bloodline chair because of the Dreamwave airbag. So it was something that I noticed when I saw that. I go, oh, that looks familiar to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good chair. I like it. I'm impressed by the 5 and 5 warranty you have. It's full coverage for 5 years, parts and labor. We don't see that very often at all. And I believe, do you have this with the other, like the either Cyber Relax, the old JP 4000? Is that also a 5 and 5? I can't remember. Or is this the only model you have?
So we typically reserve the 5 and 5 for what we consider like the Japanese flagships. So that would be Cyber Relax AI under the Fujiiryoki line has the 5-year. Cinca JP 3000 has the 5 year as a former flagship, and d.core 2. So we have those 3 platforms that have the 5-year bumper to bumper, and typically it'll be made in Japan, top end in that brand for us to offer that.
Yeah, that's a nice warranty. And, I have a lifetime labor warranty, and labor is usually the one thing that lacks. Most chairs will have a decent parts warranty, anywhere from 3 to 5 years or 2 to 5 years. But the labor, it's unusual to have a chair with that much labor coverage. And I think that's pretty neat as a standard coverage. I mean, there's some that have an extended warranty that'll give you that much, but you pay for it. But that's pretty good coverage.
Yeah, and we implemented that because, we've had chairs with tiered warranties and we still do. But what happens is the customer kind of expects the support if the parts warranty is there. And it's always like a bummer telling them, hey, like actually it's got a 1-year or 2-year labor warranty, even though this is covered that long. Yeah. I kind of view it as you're buying our top of the line. So I want to give you the top of the line experience.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. What if a chair is well taken care of, the d.core 2 is well taken care of, how many years would you expect to get out of it? 15 plus?
It always depends on usage, how the
Yeah.
people take care of it in their house. I would say, generally a full size chair you can get about 10 years out of. The Japanese ones you'll see, 15. If you ever talk to a customer that's got a real old massage chair in the US, a lot of times it'll be like an old Panasonic when
Yep.
they used to make them in Japan. We get a lot of really old Fujiiryoki customers too,
Yeah.
that they might go, I bought this in Japan, had it for 15 years, brought it with me when I moved over here. It still works. I just want
Yeah.
to get a new one. So
Yeah.
you can get some length out of the Japanese chairs.
You can. Well, and that Inada chair, I mean, like I said earlier, it goes and goes. I mean, the material shreds and falls apart like us. But yeah, I'm impressed with the Japanese chairs. I feel comfortable working with the Japanese chairs because the failure rate's going to be a little lower. It's going to last longer. Customers going to be happier longer. Of course, now the onus is on you, the company that distributes it, to provide the service and all that, and have parts available for beyond 5 years. But I suspect you will, knowing the size of your company and the factories you're working with in Japan. I expect that you'll have parts down the road for quite some time. Now, is there anything else about the d.core 2 that we haven't talked about that maybe you would like to broach?
The biggest thing that I would recommend for people is think about the experience when you're in the chair. Don't hang up on a feature or a function. I found the d.core 2 is a very experiential chair. When I talk about those arms and that calf massage, how I like the kneading airbags, it's not just one feature that I gravitate towards when I'm in it. It's when I'm in there, I find that overall experience very relaxing. It feels very luxurious. That's why someone's buying that chair. We had a guy just buy 9 of them today. He decided to put them in his office, his house, his friends. He liked that chair so much, he ordered 9 of them. So,
Jeez.
we're seeing a very good adoption of this chair from customers. And the feedback's always been really good. The NIN guys and the d.core team, they're very focused on the product. Any feedback that people send us, I share with them. If we ever have issues crop up or we find things, hey, we could do this better by doing this, we have a very tight communication loop with them. My experience with them as a supplier has been, hey, if I need something, I can just ask them and they'll do it, no questions asked.
Yeah.
When you talk to another factory or company, there's always a lot of hoops to jump through and they make it very difficult. The NIN team's very supportive, and the d.core brand has been something we've been really lucky to get. We've been selling it for a little while now, so we've kind of figured out our mojo with it. And what I mean by that is, like, any extra parts people want, if they need extra add-in back pads, things like that, we've ramped up all of that. Everything's stable. We have an idea of how well it's selling now, so there's plenty of inventory available.
Yeah.
And we've been kind of selective about the dealers that get this chair too. We want to make sure that it's just, if you go to a place that has a d.core 2, this is an elite level dealer. We don't just let anybody carry this chair.
Yeah.
It matters to us that they understand the product and, what and how to talk about that with the customer and share that with the customer too.
Yeah. Now, the Chinese tariffs have hit a couple of our suppliers already. And of course, I've not heard anything about any Japanese tariffs. So I suspect the pricing will at least remain constant, or if it goes up, it'll be because of cost of maybe some of the components or whatnot. But at least you don't have. I'm hoping that that's not hanging over the head of the Japanese chairs as well.
Fingers crossed. I mean, we're hoping for none there. For us, you're correct. There's currently not any impact to any of our Japanese chairs. We're hoping that remains. So for us, there's been no price impact to any of the Japanese made chairs that we have, because there's no tariff hitting any of those. So
yeah, it's good. That's good. It's at times we're changing, and I mean, I think we went through a little bit of this around COVID. I think there was also some tariff business going on and increased shipping costs, and everything's kind of on the everything's everything's fluid. Everything is fluid. You never know what you're going to have and what's going to happen tomorrow. But you know, I'm grateful for this chair. I really like the chair. When we carried the Cirrus, we had to, you know, give up selling it because the distributorship changed. But and I'm grateful that you've got this under the Fujiiryoki name, because I'm excited to have the chair back in on all of our showrooms and on the tongues of our customers who come into the showroom. So I appreciate that very much.
Awesome. No problem.
But I think that's about it. I can't think of anything else to ask you. Of course, as soon as we hang up, I'll think of something, but it'll be a little too late. But unless you have anything else to add, Nicholas, I just want to thank you for being here. I really appreciate your time. And I know you're a busy guy. I know it's a Friday afternoon, no less. Thanks for being available and taking time. Maybe we'll have to make an annual event where we talk about what's new at Fujiiryoki.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to be included. Thank you, sir.
All right. Well, have a great weekend. And thanks again for being here. We'll get this posted up on YouTube. It should be up later today there's a lot of people that were not able to come that want to watch it, view it. So we'll have that up later today.
Cool. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Take care, Nicholas. Bye-bye.